just get this party started. Who's excited?
I'm so excited.
Okay, welcome to my podcast, Purge the Poison. This is a podcast that is going to make you feel a lot better about your life decisions. And this is where we react and share our personal experiences with everything female rage. Mm-hmm. Who better than these three crazy ladies to start this podcast off? We've got the Croatian queen herself, Verna. We've got my sister from another mister, Miss Julie. And we've got Miss Senorita Singh herself. So if you want to, just give them a little intro for yourselves.
Right. Hi, I'm Verna. I'm a visual communicator, and I recently released my own newspaper, and it's called Loyal, and it covers the socialist era of ex-Yugoslavia.
Amazing.
I'm Julie. I'm a creative, and I have a short film coming out soon on Jules' Archive. Exciting.
And I'm Holly. I'm a fashion photographer, and I've just released my own photo book called Multi.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So we're going to cover, I feel like for this podcast, like for the first episode, we're wanting to cover relationships and we're wanting to cover our angst within them. So boys, how do we feel about them?
God.
Yeah.
Long story short.
This is a really difficult question to ask right now. I'm not
Boys and women. Boys and women.
Boys and women, yeah.
Here's the thing. Love them. Don't trust them at all. No
Right.
trust whatsoever.
Right. Because we've had a lot of ups and downs in the last couple of months with our little situationships that are going on.
Yeah.
You can start us off.
Honestly, I feel like I've had, within last like 5 or 6 months maybe, 3 situationships, all failed a week. Lasted a week. So it's just, I don't know why. I feel like I'm way too much for people sometimes.
But don't you think... Like
You're not too much.
I don't think
No.
so.
They're
Well,
not
that's
enough for you.
True.
Exactly.
Come on now. That
No,
is
but
true.
even because we've spoken about it a lot, and
Yeah.
it's more like they can't handle the truth.
100%. I feel like it's the thing that I kind of feel that is kind of embedded in men's minds, but in society in general. If a girl says the truth, she's a bitch, and I don't want to be around you. But if a guy says it, he's a boss. He's a, he can do it. He's amazing. Blah blah blah. But when I say the truth, it's like, oh my god, you're so mean.
No, honestly,
Come
like
on.
you're not a nice person, or
Yeah.
you're a bitch. I don't understand it. Wouldn't you
Well,
rather be honest though in that situation?
I mean, the first situationship that I had, Jesus Christ, I'm just gonna say a short king. We're not gonna. Jesus Christ,
We love a
but
short king,
anyways,
yeah.
we love a short king. But anyways, yeah. When I ended things with him, he said to me that I am very cold-hearted and that I'm a bitch and that he would never ever associate himself with somebody like me. And I was like, okay, thanks. Like, what am I supposed to say to that? I was just like, what?
I do feel like we deal with quite a lot of salty men,
Yeah.
and I don't think they take honesty that well.
No, I
'Cause-
don't think so.
My short king, who we're talking to at the minute, so I'm not going to name names, he didn't like it when I was still going on dates, but we're in a open, like we're not anything serious, gone on a couple dates at this point, and he was very salty when I was telling him that.
But I think that's toxic, though.
It's
It is
toxic,
very
right?
toxic.
But yours was just as bad.
Yeah, I tried to end things and then he was salty.
Yeah.
So I don't.
But wouldn't you rather be honest?
But that's what I mean. Like, I was genuinely honest and I said the truth. And
Yeah.
then they
The
just.
truth was said.
Yeah. And
They
they
did not like it.
took it very, I don't know, very salty.
I think it's that typical thing of like, they flirt with you, they like you, and then when you turn around, you're like, oh, I don't like you. Oh, well, then you're a bitch. And
Yeah.
then just like turns around.
There
and
is a
doesn't
lot
want
of
to talk
that.
to you anymore.
But I also think that comes with age.
Oh, 100%.
I feel like a lot of the boys that we're talking to, they're obviously at uni. We're at
Yeah.
uni. They're at 20, 21, 22.
Yeah.
And I think
Guys, it doesn't get much better as they get older.
True.
We hope it
25 is
does.
not any better. I'm not going to lie to you. Millennials are worse.
you think?
Really?
100%. They're horrible. They get so salty. It's so ridiculous.
Maybe they're just salty in general.
Yeah.
Or maybe we're the problem. And we don't know.
We're
it.
never the problem. We will never be the problem.
Okay. I feel like we've got a lot of daddy issues.
Dad-rooted issues.
Daddy issues. that we can touch on. Because we have absentee. Well, I've got an
Yeah.
absentee father, more of a sperm donor than a dad.
Well, I think, you know what? I've told you that before. I feel like there's 2 types of daddy issues.
Yeah.
It's like when he leaves you when you're really young, when you can't even remember the relationship that you had with him.
Yeah.
I feel like that then results into you searching for men and searching for love and like wanting it so bad. But then when it comes to a situation where he leaves you, like when you're a little bit older and you can fully understand what he did, it comes to the point where you're like, oh my God, I don't trust men. Like that's horrible.
And I feel like I'm the first one.
I'm the second
and
one.
you're the second one.
I'm definitely
because I'm like a
second one.
hopeless romantic. Like I want to find someone.
What about Julie?
I was just gonna pop in and say there's another one.
There's
But he's
another
still
one? Is there a
present.
third one?
When he's
Oh,
still
God.
present, but just emotionally just unavailable.
Yeah. True. True. That is true. But then what does that turn you into?
I don't even know. I haven't really analysed it myself, but like it's definitely there.
But you would be a hopeless romantic in that case,
am a
to be
hopeless
honest.
romantic.
We're lover girls, aren't we? We always say that.
Yeah.
Can't say that for
Can't
myself.
say that. Miss Verna over here is not a lover girl.
I'm heartless. I'm sorry. Okay.
Loves it.
Yeah.
But you've got quite a good relationship with your dad, right?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Can't say I have daddy issues.
And I definitely think in terms of relationships, you are the best person in this group.
Yeah.
I do
I
come
come to you for advice.
100%.
I mean, the men you've dated, even though it like ended up not very well, they were quality men, to be honest.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Quality, yeah.
But also like
Prestige, mate, prestige.
But I feel like the way you communicate is so open.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so like clear.
Definitely.
And you're very
We
tolerant.
definitely play games.
Oh,
we say we don't play
100%.
games, but we
Yeah.
do play games.
100%.
You're very open and honest.
Yeah, I
You
think.
say it how it is.
Yeah, I think communication. I feel more uncomfortable not communicating exactly how I feel than I just have to. I have to be honest. I can't play games or keep stuff.
But I feel like we're honest, but there's like tactile behind it.
yeah.
Whereas I feel like you're honest and you're just like, it is what it is.
Yeah, like I just accept like if this person is right for me, then they will try and listen to what I've got to say. They will try and tend to my emotional needs. We will want to work this out together. And if they don't, then clearly that is not meant to be. And that's fine.
Yeah.
I would so much rather not waste my time with someone who doesn't care about my emotional needs. Like I've just learnt to accept that situation now. But it's hard to get your headspace to, like, it's just hard to get there because I haven't always been like that.
But then how do you deal with like your anger? Like there must be certain situations where you get really pissed off.
I don't.
That you don't get
really.
just any situation you don't get annoyed.
No, she doesn't get angry at all.
No, I
When
think
have you ever
Actually, I've never seen you
her?
angry.
True,
Yeah.
No, I think for me, I've kind of see it as if I get angry at a situation or feel really bitter, I'm punishing myself. I don't enjoy being angry. I don't enjoy being bitter. So by letting something turn me that way, I'm actually punishing myself. And why would I want to do that from someone else's actions?
That's a very interesting.
That is really interesting.
That's a good way to look at
Because
it.
when you say that, I'm like, yeah, I totally understand that. But I think I'm quite an angry person, and I like it.
I was going to say, don't you enjoy it when you're angry?
likes it.
I get a high off it. Like,
Yeah.
Pop off, come on.
Adrenaline in it.
No, I'm just saying, like, if realistically, if someone's pissed me off,
Yeah, and I think anger
I
is
wanna deal
obviously
with
a
it.
I do like the
natural
frustration
human.
of it.
Everyone has a
Yeah.
right
it's kind
to
of
be
exciting
angry.
though. Like, I'm like, oh,
But
okay.
she lives a peaceful life.
You
When
do.
we don't. Like, honestly, we
no,
don't.
you are a very peaceful human.
She's a very
Aw.
peaceful.
and I feel like
Also, you're
we're
very
quite
understanding
chaotic.
because when you think about Mr. Skinny Jeans,
Oh, skinny
you know,
jeans.
him doing all that he was doing, and you were still open to like give him your phone number so he can, you know, message you on a different platform. Blah, blah,
True.
blah. Do you get what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I would not do that. If he messaged me that he doesn't want to talk over social media, I would be like, cut off by.
Yeah.
If someone left me undelivered for 2 days and didn't respond to me,
Well,
I would
this
say,
is what I was going to say.
legit.
How do we feel about time? Let's talk about timing and how we deal with things. Because I get annoyed if
I'll
I
get
haven't had a
annoyed.
response for about 5 hours because I know that you're on your phone.
Mine is
You're
even
posting
like 2
things.
hours. I can't lie to you.
See, that's mad to me.
But you waited 2 days.
See,
2
2
days.
days. 2
That
days
was a
is taking the
joke.
piss a bit.
Yeah,
2
it
days is
not
taking
a bit, a lot, babe.
Okay.
Yeah, one
I
day
don't
is bad
mind.
enough.
I don't need instant replies. I'm not gonna lie. I actually think it's kind of toxic if you expect instant replies.
It's not
all the
instant.
time.
Okay, yeah, but what's toxic if you know that they're on their phone and
If
they're
they're
ignoring
posting on their
you,
stories.
or
Yeah.
Mm.
But
that-
depending on the conversation, I'd so much rather someone wait until they're like by themselves or in the right headspace to respond to me properly than just like reply instantly just for the sake of it because they feel like they have to.
I feel like
Or if we're not really going to talk over message all day, then that's fine. Just have a call in the evening and catch up with each other. If you become that dependent on someone that you feel like you need instant replies from them all the time, you're not going to be happy. You need to
I
feel
know, I do think we are
Yeah.
quite
dependent.
I do think we
I
are
do,
quite toxic.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I need the validation.
True, that is true. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe
Also-
not instant replies, but I
It's
feel
not,
like
no, it's not even instant, but like I feel like we're in a conversation. Don't start a conversation if you don't want to have
When
the
you're in the
conversation.
talking stage, you kind
Yeah.
of need that one-on-one, like, back and forth.
But like
That is true.
if you're starting a conversation, end the conversation. Don't leave me hanging in the middle of a conversation. That's just rude.
yeah.
Like I think what I get annoyed at a lot with our generation is there's not much respect, I feel like, for a lot of women and just men but also men. Like I feel like there's a two-way street where there's not respect anymore. And I think your relationships is very respectful.
Yeah.
I feel like our relationships
Yeah.
are not.
I'm telling you, she finds good quality men. Like, you really do.
Quality.
Yeah, because
Men
I feel
and
like,
women though. Like where do you
yeah.
find these people? Because we're on Hinge and Tinder.
Literally.
It's not great.
No.
No, not at all.
It's not a good field out
I
there.
think it may be what you attract. Because she's
Do you
quite
think?
like, yeah, because she's quite like, I don't know. I feel like you are the person, if I had like a problem, I would go to you because you would give me like a sane advice, like a sane state of mind. Well, you know, if I went to anybody else, I feel like I'd be
offended.
absolutely crazy. Like,
In it, I learned in the last couple months not to go to the not to go to Izzy
yeah,
and
definitely don't go to
Jules.
them. No, definitely don't.
Me and
Definitely
you
don't.
are each
Yeah.
other's go-to.
We are, yeah.
But I feel like, you know what, in our group is what, like 6 or 7 of us. It's
Yeah.
completely 6 and 7 different types of personalities.
True.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're gonna get mixed like compliments and mixed advice from each of us. Like Holly's gonna come up and be like, "No, but it's okay. You'll be fine. Don't be dependent on him." You'll be like, "Cut him off."
Yeah,
I'll do the same. Jules will be like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
And then if I go to like Storm is just gonna be like very rational. She's gonna be like, "You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that. You're gonna do
Yeah.
that." And Emily is gonna be like on my side. She's gonna be like, "Yeah, he's a dickhead."
Yeah.
Like, come on. So I feel like it's just completely different. But she's very sane when it comes to stuff
No,
like
you
that.
are.
You are.
And I feel like
You
the
are.
thing, I've told you that before, but the thing about like protecting your peace, I feel like that really should be implemented with boys.
That is a saying that we do say a lot. Protect your
100%.
peace.
Yes.
Like
yes.
a lot of the situations we've cut off, protecting our peace, guys.
Mhm.
Definitely.
And I think that's a good way to deal with anger, actually,
100%.
because I think for me anyway, it's kind of like, am I at the stage where I want to feel that emotion with this person,
yeah.
or do I just cut it off?
Mm.
Like, is it worth my time having to feel like that?
Yeah. But there's then again, I feel like protecting your peace, but then there's another thing that my mom read to me like the other day, which was like anger is actually positive for you because if you feel angry about a situation, that means you care.
That is true.
So I don't know, like I'm trying to find like a balance
I
between
think
both.
there's
of
two.
it.
I think with the anger, it's easy to not rationalize it.
Mm.
And I think like I was speaking to my therapist the other day and she was like, you have to remember that there is like you have to have like I've got like multiple personalities is
Same.
how we describe them
Mhm.
because we always like I'm a very anxious person, so we separate my anxiety as like a different person to who I am normally.
Mm.
And I think anger is a completely separate person that you need to have your other sides to like coexist with it. You can't
True.
just become consumed with anger, otherwise you're just not going to have any valid points. Like it's just
Yeah.
going to be this chaos of, I don't know, like you don't want to be malicious. And I think that's also something else we talked about was
Mhm.
yes, we can be quite like angry women, but at the same time we're never malicious.
No.
And
I don't
there's-
think it comes from a
there's
malicious
people
place.
that are just malicious
Mm.
when it comes to being angry.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever experienced that.
Yeah, I think anger as well is such an important emotion. It would be abnormal for you not to experience or feel that as a human. I
Yeah.
just think in my when we're talking in terms of boys or girls or situationships, I have not been in a situation that was that severe that it actually caused me to be angry. I think there's definitely so many situations where like the only right reaction would to be angry, but
Yeah.
again I think it's like acknowledging, okay, this is the emotion I'm feeling, why am I feeling it, processing it, and then not letting it like dig deeper
Yeah.
and affect future relationships with other people or whatnot.
I think there's definitely like with my situationships, I've never got angry to the point where I'm like gonna explode. It's more like little things where I'm just like, oh come on, like there must be a better way of dealing with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think like my deep anger comes probably from my dad.
Oh,
Mm.
100%.
And I think that's a lot of like deep rooted issues which
Mm.
we still talk, like I'm slightly delving into with my therapist, but I'm also at the same time like, I don't have the energy for this because it's so emotional and it's so like consuming that it's like, do I want to give him the power?
Well, I don't think it's giving him the power. I think
No.
it's maybe just solving it with yourself, because I think that's
I was going to say, it's probably how you heal.
Yeah, literally,
Yeah.
because, you know, my dad left when I was, oh God, I think it was like 15 or something like that. So it's been a long time. But I think it's just a point of like where I had to detach myself from him and be like, me talking about him with, for example, you guys and my therapist and stuff like that. It's not me talking about him and giving him the power and, you know, being like, oh, I'm talking about him, you know, I still care about him. No, it's the fact of I try to solve it for myself just so that I can be sane and I can be normal. Of course, I still have daddy issues and of course I still have problems. That's, I don't think, ever gonna go away.
No,
but
it's
I
just
think,
something you've got to process.
Literally,
isn't it?
I think, you know, I've recently had like a week of like anxiety attacks and I started thinking about him again and I was like, oh my God, I miss having a dad, blah, blah, blah. Something that I haven't thought about in like months. And now I'm suddenly thinking about it, but then I'm like, why am I thinking about him? Like, I just need to sort it with myself to like, why I'm doing this? Why am I thinking about him? And you really need to talk about it because it is like, in most situations, because it is trauma, the type of experience that you've had, you need to talk about it. You need to solve it. You need to realize how you've handled it so you know how to handle it in the future.
Yeah, and I think if you stifle it and you like keep it suppressed, that's when it gets to the point where like everything is going to be negative, like everything's going to be bad.
Yeah.
And I think for me, like I've not seen my dad since I was about 8. I have no contact with him. Doesn't exist. He is a sperm donor. My stepdad is more of a dad than he ever was. So I'm kind of like, there's a lot of stuff to unpack with that, but then there's also a lot of stuff to unpack with my stepdad because we didn't have the best relationship growing up, but that was because of my dad.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that now is like, I can appreciate what he did, like coming in and stepping in. And I think that gives me like a bit of hope. And like my granddad as well, like he's such a big father figure. It's kind of like, I look at that and I think that's men.
Yeah.
Like,
True, yeah.
that's how they should act. And I think that's where I struggle in relationships now is I see how my brother treats his girlfriend. I see how my granddad was with my grandma. It's lovely and I want that.
Yeah.
And it is romanticized, but I'm also like, I know that it's out there. So why would I
It
settle
is
for
out
anything
there.
less? Like
It
the boys
is.
at Trent, God, they're toxic.
Yeah.
They're bad.
I think it's also, you have to also think about your granddad is old.
Oh yeah, he's
And
from a completely different generation. Elvis Presley kind of
100%.
kind of old.
I mean, to be honest, like the way my grandpa treats my grandma, that is just like a whole different thing. But also, I need to understand that that man came from Montenegro, which is a country where, you know, women are adored.
Yeah.
And, you know, women are, you know, caregivers and they're like taking care of the house and the children and stuff like that. So the respect that I see him give my grandma is completely different than the respect I'll get it from a British boy because it's culture and heritage embedded.
Very true. But I when I've been doing my dissertation, which is on female rage, which is why this podcast has come about, I read a quote and it was like, "Are women getting angrier?" And it was an article done by BBC in 2022, and there was a study. Yeah.
Bombastic side.
Bombastic side. And I kind of read it and I was like, women have always been angry.
Yeah.
Like this isn't anything new. But I read a really interesting quote by a psychologist, and she said, "It's not that we haven't been angry because we have. Like it's evidence throughout all of history." But it was, what did she say? It was so eloquently done. It was like the fact that we are now emancipated outside of the house is when we become like when we come home and we're dealt with the toxic masculinity of what a relationship is, that's when we really get angry.
Yeah.
Because now we do have a lot of freedoms that many people didn't have multiple years ago. And that allows us to kind of see that there's like patriarchy is still so bad. Like even we were talking about this in like films and stuff. There's only now just becoming like actual real representation for female rage.
Yeah,
Definitely. There's so
100%.
many now.
And especially when you think about like race profiling and stuff like that.
Mm.
And I feel like now it's more talked about because of like TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
We were literally talking about it like an hour ago.
Yeah.
When you think about the stereotypes that are supported on TikTok now, where just like Latin women are crazy and they're gonna hit you with their heel. Black women are bossy. We were talking about that with Storm. It's just so crazy. Like that type of stereotype is put on TikTok. It is mostly in most situations supported by men. But then again, it's encouraged by women.
Yeah, I do think we encourage it quite a
insane
lot.
to me, because like I've seen so many times of like, you know, those like Vine type of videos that are still on TikTok where like, you know, he dates a Latin woman and then he does something bad and she turns around and like throws a slipper at him.
Or she's got a whole
Like,
gang with it.
Oh yeah, or she has like, it's just like, how do you as a woman go and film that video and think that's okay?
And also, can we note the fact that these are all women of colour?
Yeah.
Like, it's never to white women, and it's normally, obviously, we have white feminism, and then we have intersectional feminism, and white feminism has a lot to do with this, like,
I do
racial
think we're quite
profiling,
bad.
100%.
stereotyping.
Did you see, oh my god, what's her name? I think it's Kiara King. She's a British TikToker, but she's actually from Poland. And then she filmed a video of herself where she said like, I have range inside me because I'm Latin. Babe, you have no connection to Latin. You're Polish and English.
You're white.
Like, you're white, like 100% through and through white. But you're like, oh, Latin anger. Or like, oh, when I'm Latin and my boyfriend does this. I'm just like,
She's Caucasian.
literally. I'm like, babe, what the fuck?
But like, how do you feel about, like, because you guys obviously are not white. Me and Verna are very white. I feel like I can't speak on your experiences at all, but like I know that you guys have experienced a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think it completely depends on your heritage. On the topic of black women, like we were talking with Storm the other day, oh my god, I see like it all the time, even in person, not just on social media. White women clearly categorizing black women of this like bossy. It's always bossy,
Angry,
arrogant, angry.
Yeah.
What is that
Always.
about?
I think
they see things.
I think it's massively the film culture. Like, if you look at horror films, there's literally a trope of the angry black woman, and they're always the ones to get killed off first.
Yeah. 100%.
And I think that's something that just tells you how society is still.
Yeah, there's a lot of like tropes about it, because I feel like, even not to demean what you're saying, but I feel like it's so embedded into like, especially the movie industry now. When you think about, there's always black women are always angry and aggressive.
Yep.
So are Latin women. And for example, what I've noticed recently when I was doing research for my newspaper, Balkan people are always mafia. And the way
you guys are gangsters.
You guys are gangsters,
I mean, we're not going to talk about it. But it's just like, always when there's like a mafia boss, he's always Serbian or Montenegrin. I'm not saying that's incorrect. It is. It's correct. Like in most situations, we do have a lot of mafia and stuff like that. But it's just like, it's always when they're speaking angrily on the phone, they're speaking in Serbian. And I've had so many situations where people told me, oh my god, I get so scared when you speak in Croatian because you sound mad. I'm like, that's just the way I speak, babe. No, like I don't sound mad. I'm just speaking like
your
that.
Language.
Literally,
your
it's just
language.
my language. Just because it sounds scary to you, that's your problem. It's the same about Russian people. I feel like people, when they hear Russians speak, it's in most situations just like, oh, they're angry.
They always say Russians.
Mila Kunis talked about it because she is. I think she came from Russia or something like that.
I think so. I'm not sure.
She's either Russian. She can speak Russian.
Oh my god, is she Albanian or Macedonian? One of those two.
She can. I know that she can speak Russian.
Yeah, she can speak Russian.
Because she went on the Graham Norton show and then she started speaking it, and she was like, I don't normally speak it because I sound really aggressive.
Yeah,
and that's just a stereotype, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think stereotypes have a lot to play into how female rage is represented. But I think TikTok is an interesting one, right? Because there's two sides to it. There's the negative side, which plays into the stereotypes. And then there's also the really positive, liberating side that's like, we're actually going to talk about this and it's going to be a good, open conversation like we're doing now. And Anna Taylor-Joy, she spoke about it and she was like, she actually called out her male director and was like, this is not how I would react if I was in this situation. I think it was something like the single tear trope that happens when women get angry. That is not how I get angry. I'm literally like hysterically crying because I'm enraged. So angry.
Yeah.
And like, she was like, I'm gonna act this way and I'm gonna slap him. Like that is how I would react.
Yeah.
And I love that representation from
Yeah,
her.
because can we just talk about female rage isn't always a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
No.
No,
I
not
don't think
at
it's a
all.
bad thing. at
And
all,
also,
no.
why wouldn't we be angry a lot of the time given the history?
Tell me
Especially
about it.
like, and also like women of colour, given like how they're put right at the bottom of the hierarchy within society, of course they're going to have a lot of anger. And
If they've been oppressed for that long as well, like,
Yeah.
of course.
Because why would you be any other way if
Yeah.
you've been discriminated against, and you still are? At the end of the day, history didn't end. Still to this day,
Yeah.
if you're
Mm.
black, you're a woman. If you're brown, you're a woman.
Yeah.
You're gonna be discriminated against.
But let's just talk about women in general, though. Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
There's a lot of anger around that. Abortions.
Mm.
What are we living in the 60s? Because
I don't understand.
I don't understand.
I
I
just don't.
genuinely perplexed.
I mean, I always say that to me, America is a simulation. It doesn't
Oh,
exist.
American. I don't think I've always like idolized. I think America in a really
used
weird
to
way.
when
Like
I was
I've
growing up, yeah.
romanticized it in my
Mm.
head. But looking at it now, I'm like, I wouldn't
No.
want to live there.
I
Gun
will
crime
never
is
go to
everywhere.
America.
No, I think.
Ever.
Do you know when you like think about like countries that like attract you and you want to go to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
America has never been on my list, and I've traveled so much, and I've had opportunities to go to New
Really?
York. and
I
was
can't
like,
relate.
no.
I used to always want to live in LA.
I think
No,
to me it was
no.
Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Texas are the worst.
Get me a cowboy.
Oh, Jesus
Yeah, but
Christ.
She wants a
they
John
treat-
Wayne.
No, they do.
No.
Watch Yellowstone. I want a rip. Like, give me a rip. Like, my mum will relate to this. I want to be
Deep
guys.
South.
Yeah. Holly's like, no.
No.
Get me to India. No, I think that they like treat women how I want to be treated.
Izzy,
What?
you're
I think-
clueless, babe.
We've had this conversation.
Delusions.
We have had
before, and I think
See,
we've.
this is the only
South.
time I've seen Holly ever get angry.
Yeah, because when it comes to you, we agree to disagree. Okay, because I think. Yeah.
Deep South of America.
I'm not saying
Fuck no.
deep south. I'm just
Texas.
yeah,
She
but,
wanted to be treated like a lady, that's why, and you want to be taken
but like
care of.
a liberative cowboy.
She was a sweet.
I don't think those
home
exist.
Alabama.
I'm gonna make them exist. They exist on TikTok, so they're real life to me.
Okay,
Fair.
babes, it's fine.
Don't crush my dream.
No, I'm kidding. You do what you need to do.
See, this is no. I can tell she's actually angry right now.
I'm not angry. I'm just
Girl.
a bit confused about the decisions you're making.
After we exit this room, we're not friends anymore.
Yeah. No, what did you say to me the other day? Oh, I said, I actually made quite a controversial.
Oh,
You
God.
did,
What was
you
it?
did.
A
I just
controversial
don't
statement.
cancel yourself. But
I'm not going to cancel
I
myself.
can't remember what she
What was
said
the-
now.
It was that I don't think I identify as a feminist.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And Holly was like, I'm not going to be friends with you. if
But
you're a
see,
She
feminist."
was like, don't ever say that
But-
again.
But this is the thing. There's a really big topic about feminism within society.
Right.
Because when you say the word feminist, in most situations, people will think of those
Yeah.
People
do
think
you
of throw your bars out.
associate with?
Crazy
Because I
extremists.
associate
I
with,
think
like,
that.
yeah.
like one instance is like a woman just like screaming at me for wanting to have like I would happily be a housewife. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Like I want to have a family.
Mm.
If that's bad, then you're not a
Mm.
feminist to me because women should empower women, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them are psychotic.
Mm.
And I don't mean that in a negative way because I'm like like fully be enraged because we should be.
Yeah.
But I think there's ways of dealing with it that you're not ramming it down people's throats. Like we're having a nice open conversation about it. There are a lot of women that I think and people that take things too far sometimes.
Yeah. But see, this is the thing. I think what Holly is trying to do is taking the word feminist and
Yeah.
claiming it back,
Modernising
turning it
it,
into something positive, turning it
'Cause,
into what
I
we
mean,
are.
Technically all women are feminists, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not what I meant when I said it. It was
you'd be
like
surprised.
well,
There is
But
situations.
this is why there's different strands of feminism.
Yeah.
This is
True.
why I will always say I'm an intersectional feminist.
yeah.
Mm.
And I think when you spoke to me about it, I was like, oh, that totally makes sense. Like I would feel
Yeah.
comfortable being like that.
Mhm.
And I am that.
Well, see,
But it was
this is-
just the
yeah,
You just
but-
don't
extreme
relate to
side
like the
of it.
extremes.
Yeah, literally,
yeah.
because you wanna be a housewife. That's what you wanna do. But at the
Ideal
end of the day-
dream.
ideal dream, and that's amazing. If that is what you want to do, but I think there is women who want to be housewives and then want to be treated like trash. But in a situation, if you are a
Oh,
housewife and your husband,
If I'm
was
getting
bad,
treated like trash,
you
nah,
would leave.
I'm leaving.
But that's still in your brain. That is still feminism because
Yeah.
you are standing up for yourself. You're like, I
Yeah.
am a housewife, but if you're treating me like trash, I'm leaving. But there's
Yeah.
women who genuinely want to be treated like that. So
yeah, and I think that's a lot of like that just goes back in history. Like if you look at 1960s housewives, Jesus Christ, I don't know how
they basically
did
didn't
it.
have any rights.
I don't know how they did it. Like the husband would just like click, be like, I want dinner. Sorry, you've got legs.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
I don't think I'd actually be a good housewife, guys.
Honestly,
I was
I
gonna
think I would.
say-
I just want like
You just want to sit back
I
and do
just
nothing.
want to chill.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you guys a story? Oh my god, this is gonna be horrible. Somebody's gonna know, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, we went on holiday with my dad's friend from they were kids, but then they
Okay.
became like business partners and stuff like that. So on holiday, it was me, my mom, my brother, and my dad. And then it was his partner, the partner's wife, and their son. So basically, it was breakfast. And
Oh,
we all got
God.
our own food and stuff like that. And I've never seen a man treat a wife like this. So basically, what he did is he sat down at the table, and the counter where his breakfast was that she made for him, woke up earlier than him and made him breakfast. He sat down at the table. Like, I'm not kidding. The counter was like this far away from him. He made her come from the deck of the fucking yacht downstairs to get him the meal and put it in front of him. I am not joking. He couldn't do this and just grab it. No, he made her come and put it in front of him. And then also we were eating lunch on the deck outside, and he wanted some salad, and I'm not kidding, he said he wanted salad. She got up like scared
Like
as shit,
scared, yeah.
shaking, took the salad and put it on his plate. I was like, what the actual hell? Like, I was like looking at her,
I think.
and I was
She
like, I
was
looked at, and
shaking.
I was like, I looked at my mom, and my mom knows.
How old
like,
were you at this point?
I was like 60.
You're,
Oh
you're
my
right. You're
God.
you're 16, going, what the fuck am I living in?
But see, this is the thing. I've always been, against the life that I was living before before my parents got divorced. And my mom knew that I'm that type of person. Like, I will
Yeah.
tell you to your face,
I think
fuck
yeah.
yourself. But basically, when that happened, like, it was so funny because when he said like, oh, I want salad, and she like jumped up, I looked at my mom, and my mom was like, please don't,
Yeah.
please. I was like, fine. I
Yeah.
won't do anything.
Suppress it.
But I was
I
like,
think,
honestly,
but you had the strength to not say anything because there's
It took
been so many.
every-
No, there's been so many situations I've been in. I did when I was younger, when I was 16. I did not have the strength to do that. It would just come out, and my mum knows. She's like, if anyone's going to say anything, it's going to be you. So just
Yeah.
like now,
Yeah.
I get debriefed. I get debriefed on to not
Really?
say anything. Yeah, if we're having like a family dinner or like a family event, she's like, bite your tongue.
yeah, literally, like,
And
you
I
have to shut
because
up.
I'm just like, it takes a lot. I'm very good at it now, but when I was younger, there was nothing. There was no filter. It was just like whatever. Because I just literally, I'm like, if I don't understand something, I will like speak about it.
Yeah.
And to me, that's insane. That's what you see in films.
That was horrible because when I looked at it, I was just a bit like confused, first of all, and then second of all, I just got so angry. I was like, why is this man who has 2 arms and 2 legs and is fully capable
Honestly.
of doing other stuff, but his wife has to get him salad and put it on his plate in front of him? Babe, no. If you asked me, like, if the salad was like far away from you and asked me, can you hand me that?
Yeah.
Sure, no worries, babe. But it's just like, come on, why do you need to do that and put it on his plate? Nah.
No.
Nah, I was so
agree.
angry. Like, I literally came home and I turned around to my dad and I was like, I never want to see those people ever again in my
again.
life because they're fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, not even gonna comment on the fact that he never hugged his wife within the week that we were together. He never kissed her. He was always on his phone, never took care of him. There was literally one point where, like, her and my mom, when we were like swimming and they went quite far away from us, and like the woman started crying because of the way she was
Yeah.
treated, but she didn't know that she doesn't have the energy to leave him.
Right.
It's just so like, it's really
But to me, that
horrible.
like gives me the ick. Can we talk about icks for a second? Because I
Go
feel like
on.
we've got quite a lot.
I
And I
get
feel
it
like a
within
lot
2
of them
days.
make me angry.
Skinny jeans.
Yeah. Skinny jeans
Wow.
is one of them. It's one of them.
3 colored jackets. Anyways,
But I feel like, so my ick, right, is being rude to waiters
Oh
and
yeah.
service
no.
people.
Do you know what? This.
Get the bill.
Don't. Right. So I had quite a rich friend growing up, and
Mm.
we, I can't say the context because she'll know if she ever watches this
Okay.
podcast. But we were out
Tea.
at dinner, and her dad was lovely, so nice, until I witnessed this, and I was on holiday with them, and I was like, oh my God.
I need to leave now.
remember ringing my mum like, I have never felt like I've wanted the seat to eat me whole. Like, he wanted the bill, right? So it's not like, come get the bill. It's not like the TikTok trend that you see.
Yeah.
It was like, snap of the fingers, hand up. He was so rude to this. I was like, oh my God, I want to die. Like, to me, I'm always going to be so polite to anyone. I literally wanted the earth to swallow me whole. I was like, I am not associated with these people. And I think it's because one of the meals came out late, right? And he was like, I'm not paying this. God. Bearing in mind, he's one of the richest people I've ever met. Like, this guy owns
That's how they stay rich. That's how they stay rich.
Honestly, he got money off this dinner. I'm like, I know for a fact that this is nothing. This is like ordering a bloody froyo. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was nothing. And I remember going home and ringing my mum, and I was so upset by it because I was like, I was really young. And obviously I was on holiday with them, so I didn't say anything in that situation. But I remember being like, I wish I fucking said something. Because if I was with my mum, I would have said something.
Yeah.
But I was like, I felt so ashamed afterwards. I was like, that's horrific. That's given me the ick. And I remember, if anyone treats anyone like that again, immediately, no.
It is just rude because I've had my food, like, people click their fingers at me when I was working on bar, and I was just looking at them like, I'm not serving you.
Like, am I a dog? Like, do you need to do that? Am I a dog? Are you calling a dog? Like,
It's
what
so
are
rude.
you doing? Why would you do that? I mean, honestly, I feel like just in general, people in like hospitality and people in retail, like, I have people who come into the shop, and I'm not kidding, I'm not behind the till. They throw stuff onto the till for me to hear the hangers bang
to make
on the
it obvious
counter, to make it obvious. And do you know what I hate when they do? So they leave the stuff, and I'm like processing it through, because at the end of the day, I work in a charity shop. Like, we don't have codes, we don't have barcodes. I have to put in every price individually, and I have to find the categories, and there's like 100 of them. So whilst I'm doing that, they leave and they go somewhere, and then I'm like, put everything in a bag, they're ready to pay, but they're not here.
You're like, where have they gone?
So what am I supposed to do? There's a line of people. Like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to yell after them? Like, first you throw.
Excuse me?
Yeah, literally, like, can you please
Sir?
come back? Like, honestly, the people that I had literally the other day, I had these two women. I was doing kids, which is like really close
Were they
to
old?
the till. No, one of them was like really young. It was like a mother and a daughter.
Interesting.
So one of them was like really young, and the older one was like paying for all of this stuff. So she brought, we have the deal 4 for 12 now. So they brought 4 coats to the till. She threw them onto the till. Without hangers, by the way. She left them somewhere in the store for me to pick up later, because that's my job to do. Why would you take it with a hanger when you could just leave it on the rail? And anyways, I came from the kids section to the till to serve them. Put everything in a bag, and I was like, and the girl sat down on like a little box that the mannequin is on, and she was like waiting while I was doing that, and I was like, do you want to pay now? And she was like, oh no, my mom is gonna pay. And I was like, okay.
No, really?
So then I like waited for her mom for like 20 minutes, like behind the till doing stuff, and I was like, do you know what, I actually don't have time to this. I need to finish what my boss told me to do. So I went away. They came back, and not even like, I was turned my back around to the till, and she yelled, and she was like, I want to look at the coats now. And I was like, okay. And I gave her the bag, dumped it all out, and then she like started looking at it, and then she basically, what was really funny, they were Russian, and I know Russian. And they were trashing us in front of me, but I didn't want to say anything.
You're like, actually,
so
bilingual.
literally. So they were like, they looked at the coats, and the coats were like quite dirty at the bottom because they were probably just on the floor or something. And she was like, no, I don't want these. Left. And then her mom turned around to me, and she was like, in Russian, to my face, told me, like, also, how do you expect of a person to know Russian? Why are you speaking Russian to me?
If someone spoke Russian to me, I'd be like,
literally. She turned around and she
Blackface.
was like, you at least could have cleaned these clothes, and left. And I was like, we're a charity shop.
Yeah.
I don't have money for washing machines. Let alone have money to pay me. Like, come on now. They were so rude, and that gives me an absolute ick.
yeah.
Horrible.
I think, to be fair though, old women. Let's talk about old women.
Oh my god.
Because I actually think old women are some of the rudest people I have met in my life.
Really rude.
And I think, I mean, as women, I do think we can be quite rude. I can be quite rude sometimes. Not even intentionally. These old women, Jesus Christ, their game is hard. They are scary. Like, I used to work in a coffee shop. These women, I knew as soon as they walked in, I was like, oh, fuck's sake. Like, you know that you're going to have an issue. You
I actually
know.
just find it funny though.
Yeah, it is funny.
It's
I
quite
like
funny.
to laugh at
Just
it.
think about your
But
grandmas.
right, but my grandma was such a lovely human being. And I don't remember her
Mine is
being
not
angry.
nice. I'm not gonna lie, mine is not nice. I'm so glad she doesn't know English. She's not.
Mine was lovely.
If I speak, I am in trouble.
Literally.
No, but I'm kind of thinking, like, is it because they're so fucking repressed? Like, is it because they've had to live their life just being
Do you
pissed
think
off.
they're jealous?
I think they're a little bit jealous.
Really?
Could be.
Yeah.
I think they have nothing to lose. They're old.
Well, they're also like, I'm going to die soon. I might as well piss.
That's
few
what I
people off
mean.
before I go.
Do you not think old men are rude too, just in a different
Oh
way?
yeah, 100%. I think old men are pervy.
Yes, they're creepy rude.
So pervy.
Ah.
Horrible. Like the amount of times I've heard, "Oh, sweetie, you have such beautiful eyes." And I'm like,
Do you know what
Ew.
though? I kind of
Ew.
like it in a bad way. Like,
Daddy issues.
That's
get out the
no,
room.
but I don't think that's daddy issues. Like, the Christmas market, I was buying some cheese, right? Going for this guy, and he's like, "Oh, you're a gorgeous young lady." He was like 60. I was like, I'm buying that cheese now. Like, yeah, I'm gonna buy that cheese. You're so nice. Like, they've got I feel
That
like
was
they've got,
babe.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like they're very good at like sweet talking.
Mm.
Like my granddad, I sometimes maybe it could be a little. I feel like it's the older generation. I feel like they just compliment women though.
Yeah.
I feel like yes, there are definitely some that are freaking.
there are
bad.
weirdos,
But like, I think it's all in jest, and I think that's the difference now. When I see like if a guy my age is complimenting me, don't believe
But there
it.
is such a clear difference to when a man is complimenting you respectively versus
True, yeah.
like the other day when I was walking to get dosa with you
Fire.
guys, me and Storm were together and this guy walks past, he looks at Storm and he's like, more fire. More fire. You're like, slay, that is a respectful
Yeah.
comment.
that's a funny comment as well. I
let's
feel
be honest.
like
It's the
yeah.
cat callers. I think.
Oh no.
Oh my god. Have you ever been catcalled from a car?
Oh,
Oh
so
my
many
God.
times.
In Nottingham, it's
White
bad.
vans,
Do you know how-
middle-aged
But not
men
vans.
in white
I
vans.
get
Yes.
BMWs.
BMWs.
boys.
No, you know what's the best one? The best one is when they have. I'm gonna be so posh with this. When they have a cheap ass car, and then
It's like
they
a Ford
get,
Fiesta.
that they get, yeah, literally, that they get that thing that makes a loud sound. What is it
the
called?
exhaust. They get like
Whatever it's
specific
called. I'm not a
exhaust.
car person. Anyways, when they do that, and then
They've
they like
enhanced
do
their
it in
Ford
front of
Fiesta.
you. Yeah, stop the car, and they're like, "Oh, hey, sexy," and I'm like, "Does that literally?" I had
No.
a situation.
Do you know what though? We're not in Fast and Furious. You're not. You're
I was
not
going
in
to
Diesel.
say
No,
the
it's not
audacity
working
to do
the
that
same.
when
No.
your car's that
But
bad.
you know what? I had a situation where a guy did that to me in Croatia, and I turned around and I was like, "Can I just ask, does this ever work for you?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "Has a girl?"
I think you'd be
ever-
surprised. I think
Well,
it does.
he said
Really?
he said it.
No,
he
it doesn't.
said
It doesn't.
I
It
think
doesn't.
I don't think it does.
must.
He
Izzy,
said,
you're
he said
delusional.
it's
But
never worked.
why do they
Delusions.
carry on doing it though?
Because they're dumb. They're dumb.
No, because right.
I think they think it's a bit of fun.
they
and they
think
just
I
drive
think
off.
it is good fun when they're in a group. I think it's funny, but when they're on their own, Jesus Christ! I went to Amsterdam because my brother lives out there, and we went to an Irish bar. Right, the Irish bar, such good vibes. Outside of this Irish bar, there was a turkey bar, like Turkish bar, Turkey bar on the opposite side, like one of the shisha places.
Oh yeah.
And this is a place where like there was just this. I kept noticing the same cars, and I said to my brother, I was like, "What is going on? It's the same people driving around. Like we're not on the F1. This is the circuit right now." And I was like, "What are they doing?" And he was like, "Oh, they're waiting for all the fit girls to come out and catcall them." And I was like, "What?" And
So strange.
20 minutes later,
bombastic side.
girls are coming out of the Turkish bar. Hordes of these cars just queuing
Mm.
to like catcall
Yeah,
these
but
girls.
like Amsterdam is a
worked.
different breed.
It worked,
Yeah, I was gonna
though.
say-
and I was sat there like
yeah, I know.
my face said it all. I was like,
I know.
Mm.
I had a situation where I was in a car with my brother, and he picked me up from a party, and it was him and his mates in the car, and they were sit in the back, and I was sit in the front, and we stopped at a stoplight, and this really pretty, I can't complain, she was
Yeah.
very pretty, girl walked on the crosswalk. What am I saying? Anyways, she walked in front of us, and the guy, his friends were like, "Oh, honk at her," and I looked at him and I was like, "You better fucking not,
Yeah.
because if you do this, you're a dickhead." And he was like, "No, I would never do it." But they were like,
Yeah.
honk, she's pretty.
they love it.
And then one of them started like opening the windows, and I was like, from the front, I was like, "Don't you fucking dare! Like, you have a woman in the car. Don't disrespect. Like,
Yeah.
don't do this." And I was
but
like,
I don't think
"Why?"
they see. I don't know if they see it as.
I don't think they
disrespectful.
see it as disrespectful. I think
No,
But they
not
see
at
it as like a
all.
compliment.
yeah, and a bit of
I think
fun.
so. I think they do.
Maybe they just need. I don't know how could like what is the equivalent of girls doing that to guys?
I don't
I
know.
don't
I
think
don't
there
think
is
there
one,
is
you
one.
know.
I think we should start
Because
doing that.
I'm kind
You know,
of
just to confuse men.
honestly. Can you imagine if
What,
we
start honking at men?
should we go in, should we go in Fiat the Flossie, like Flossie the Fiat, and just drive around Nottingham
Yeah.
and be like, "Hey,
Literally.
you're
But
fit."
it's because
I don't think it'd work.
most men thrive off of validation from men over women. So, and they know by doing things like that, honking and whatever,
Yeah.
like the guys are going to see
The
them
guys
as
are
like,
gonna
It's
like
gonna be
it.
like a cool.
I'm going to be validated. They don't actually care if the girl likes it or not. This is why I
That's
saw,
an interesting
I saw
perspective.
something the other day. What was it saying that no guy is 100% heterosexual because they literally thrive off of validation from other
do.
guys.
Rugby boys.
They do.
That's where you see it. Rugby boys. I love them. God, I love them. But they are. That is them.
Yeah.
You never know.
It's
I want to get my brother on this podcast.
Oh, he'll
my
tell
God,
you
that would
all
be
about
so
it.
fun.
Is he a rugby boy?
He's a rugby, but he's this. See, this is the thing. This is why I like rugby boys. I don't think he's a true rugby boy, right?
I'm telling you, Sweet Home Alabama.
No, because he's such a nice person and he treats his girlfriend like she's the gold like tea, and I want that, and I just associate that with
Babe,
rugby.
I think that's rare. Like, I
yeah,
don't
well-
think it's associated with like rugby boys.
I know,
That's
but
what I don't know.
they're just
See, it's the same
just
thing. as, like,
big.
I think that type of thing is like also what's kind of embedded in women is if you see a guy doing something great and then you immediately associate it with his job or
I
something.
do.
Because my brother is a business bro, but when you think about business bros, they're like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, bro.
Especially the
Stop
ones in
it.
London.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
bro.
Come
and they treat women like shit. My brother is not like that. He actually treats women amazingly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my effect because I was like, you need to get your
But
shit together.
But actually, I feel like, I don't know about you, but my brother grew up in a household with a younger sister, me, and my mum. That was it.
I was
And
going to say
my grandma.
female figures affect
And I
it.
feel like
100%.
massively female figures,
Mm.
like if I always look for green flags in guys, and I think if they've got sisters,
An older sister.
100%.
Also, can I just say, if a guy has lots of female friends, such a green flag
Yeah.
for me.
Mm.
If
Yeah.
he doesn't have any friends who are women,
Yeah.
girls, red flag.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, because I feel like it's the way they treat their sister. Because I know
Right.
that most of the girls that my brother has been with, I think they really adored me and they adore the way
Yeah.
he treats me. Because he does treat
I mean,
me like a little
mine
princess. But...
treats me like a twat, but
No, I mean, you know what?
there's a loving relationship.
yes,
it's a loving
100%.
relationship,
And I feel
but
like he treats you like a
yeah.
twat, you know.
I'm
in
his,
your, in
I'm
your
his
own
younger
house.
sister.
Yeah,
Like I
but
am a bit of a
he's
twat. Like I'll
supposed to.
allow it.
Yeah, he's supposed to because like that kind
Yeah.
of like shapes you up when he
Yeah.
does
Oh,
that. But it's
exactly.
also like when it's to people outside of our
Yeah.
house and outside of, you know, our parents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just he always treats me very nice. And I always meet his friends and they're like, oh my God, your brother bigs you up so much.
Yeah.
Like he talks about what you do and you blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, he's supposed to joke with you, but
Yeah.
it's the way he talks about you to his friends.
Yeah.
Mm.
That is like, because you can always see that. You can always be like, you know, if he doesn't talk about you well to his friends, it's going to be like, you know, they're not going to care about you. But I always have such good relationships with my brother's friends because he bigs me up all the time and then they
Yeah.
think I'm an amazing person, which I am. Anyways,
She's amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, he's just the way they talk to their friends also.
Yeah.
So
But I think how do you fare, because you've got
I was going to say, I
three-
don't relate. I have
you've
two
got- You've got
sisters.
two sisters.
Oh.
Yeah, middle
And you're
child.
the middle child.
Yeah.
oh God.
I
Yeah.
know.
You don't give middle child vibes.
You
I
think?
always thought you were the youngest one, but then you've got Amy,
Really?
haven't you?
Yeah. I don't know how I'd relate to that, to be honest, because I don't know, my sisters, I don't think there's like a thing that you can relate to, like having an older sister or a younger sister to that.
Yeah.
No, but do you feel like supported by your sisters?
Mm.
Because there's like, I know there's like this, there's a sisterhood. Like
Yeah.
like we're
Oh,
all in like
yeah,
a little
yeah.
sisterhood of like
Yeah.
our little
Oh,
uni
definitely.
gang.
Yeah, I definitely feel supported by my sisters. I feel like we're really close now because we've all related with the fact that like our dad is just emotionally just not available. So we've
not
all
there.
it's just
Parents
not there.
bring you together.
He's there, but he's not
Honestly.
there. So we've all kind of been very close, you know. And
But
we're
you're
all just-
very close with your mum as well, aren't you?
yeah, my mum's lovely.
Yeah.
Like we're all just like all together, all these like girls in the house, and he's just there.
That's good.
So that's just like good feminine energy. I
But
feel
that's
like.
what I mean. Yeah, our household is like a really like nice like feminine household.
nice.
Mm.
I mean,
I feel like I could always
you
go
have a
to
nice
them.
relationship with your brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, your brothers know.
Yeah, no, I think we didn't always have a good relationship, but just I think as you get older, like I feel like it's
Yeah.
quite normal. Like when we were younger,
Yeah.
we'd fight a lot.
Oh,
Obviously.
Mm.
but
me and my brother, there's one really funny story actually. He's gonna get mad that I tell this.
Tell it.
Basically, well, actually, I've got two funny stories. He was such a twat. He actually was. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, maybe you weren't the nicest person. I was a chaotic child. Let's just leave it. That I mean, you guys have already you've seen the pictures. There was one time I remember my uncle James. He's like this lad. Like he honest, I love him. Like, he's like my I'm like, I love you. Like, I love you. You're so nice. And he's so protective, and I love that. And he's like, I'll never forget when I came round yours and you were playing in the garden and your brother had a baseball bat, right? He smacks me over the head with a baseball bat. I go over crying to my mum, like, in tears. And my brother goes, I don't know why she's crying. And James is like, I do. He just fucking knocked her out. And then there's another one, which actually, it is funny because, I mean, yeah, I'm a little shit, but I don't deserve to get sniped. Basically, you know those
snipers?
Yeah, you know those Nerf guns?
Yeah,
like,
that I have.
Like, that you have?
Yeah.
My brother, he was a bit, like, we're all like a big history nerdy family, right?
Yeah.
And he was very into war, and he had like a Viking shield, and my mum got him this Nerf gun. Shouldn't have got, I don't know why she decided this was a good idea. And we had these stairs, and on the stairs there was a landing. This little shit was lying down like a sniper at the top of the stairs, waiting for me to walk up the stairs. Bam, in the head. I'm like crying my eyes out. He does it to me twice, and my mum's like screaming at him downstairs, like, don't do that. So my mum, this is where my mum's rage came out. Because it actually really hurt, to be fair. I mean, I was probably being dramatic, but like, as like a 7-year-old child,
when you get hit with a Nerf gun. It does hurt,
right? My mum comes storming up the stairs, gets his toy, snaps it in half on her leg. I was like,
You're joking.
No, my brother was in tears. He was like, I'm going to Dad's. He threw the dad card out. My mum was like, go. But I just remember that being so funny, and I remember just being like, yeah, you deserve to have your toy broken.
We weren't allowed guns. Well,
I was
fake
gonna
guns
say,
in our
Really?
household. We weren't allowed
Really?
any video games that
Really?
had guns. We weren't allowed Nerf guns, anything like that.
Oh God, my brother played Halo, that like
See,
weird
my-
alien game.
My brother didn't like video games. It was so weird. When he was younger, he liked Legos, and then he turned
Playmobil was a big one for me.
Oh, Playmobil. Yeah.
Nah, he liked those like really complicated ones, and then
Oh,
he
no.
started building those airplane models, and then from
Oh,
that,
did they play like Did he play like Warcraft or something?
Yeah,
my
he
brother
had,
did
like-
that as well.
Honestly, but he never like one day my mom was like, I'll buy you a Nintendo, I'll buy you an Xbox,
Yeah.
whatever you want. He was like, no.
Oh,
I
my
don't
brother's
want
still
to.
a big gamer, to be fair. He's a bit like Henry Cavill. He got really excited. He like bought a PC and like built it himself. I was like, you're actually such a nerd. But like realistically, I
So
would,
lame.
I would, I'm like a little bit of a gamer girl. Like I would happily sit on a PlayStation all day and play games.
That's
It's interesting. I think it's interesting.
But I
Everyone
think
has
it's
a
interesting
PlayStation,
that
so-
your mum didn't let you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Play
both my mum
violent
and dad
video
were,
games.
were always, both of them were like, absolutely no.
But that's
Boundary was
quite
very firm
interesting.
there.
Because I feel like maybe there's a lot of like there is a
That's why I'm
that's
so
what-
peaceful.
yeah. I genuinely think maybe that's
It's
why you're
weird to
peaceful
that.
because like
We grew around Nerf guns. That's where we're
Yeah.
aggressive.
we're getting beaten up.
I'm 21 and I bought a Nerf gun like 2 months ago, and I have it in my drawer for every time somebody walks into my house, I could just fucking nerf them. Literally.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I come from a very sporty household and I've played a lot of sports growing up.
Same, to be fair.
Really?
Very
But I
sporty
don't know how
growing
you're
up.
not aggressive then.
I used
Because
to
there's
be.
an
I
innate
used to be.
aggressiveness like when
Think
you're
you've just
playing
matured?
sports.
If you're saying you're used to, you've just matured
Yeah,
now.
I
You're not.
think I had to mature quite early on, to be
Yeah.
honest.
But also
So-
when you look at your, let's talk about your spam account, for example.
Oh yes.
When you look at your videos from when you were like but when you were looking at videos from her when she was like 16, 17, because you have that highlight when
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
all you like partying, you are so
Actually, yeah. When you were younger, you were wild.
Yeah, you were-
you like push
yeah.
people.
You're
and stuff like
you're-
yes, you did.
Girl.
You pushed the guy with your leg. He was like on the
talking about?
I don't know. I just saw a video and I was like, wow, I would never expect this to do from Miss Singy. Come on.
Come on.
Yeah.
I'm actually proud of you. Come on, push him.
Yeah.
Push him.
Throw
I
him.
don't know. I feel like that's really interesting that you've changed quite a lot because you don't play sports now, do you?
No.
No. So I'm still very much in the sporting and like in the
Mm.
industry / world of sports. Like
Yeah.
everyone I've ever been with has played sports romantically.
Yes.
Mm.
Everyone, we love an athlete around here.
Nice.
I've
Talk
played
about it.
sports all my life. I've played for
Yeah.
England, played for GB. Like we're a very like big sporting household, and I played my last game, and I don't know
Oh,
whether it's going to be my
yeah.
last game ever.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Come on.
I don't know whether I can be asked to play after. But then, like to me, that's where I get aggressive. Like that's where
I think you can
let
release
my
it then, though.
aggression-
Yeah.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a good, healthy aggression. Like if I'm losing, I'm fucking fuming. Look, my face on court. Everyone always says,
I've seen it.
"Yeah, you've seen it."
I've seen it.
My teammates are always like, "Yeah, we can tell when you're annoyed." I'm like, "Really?" Because I don't like, when I'm in the zone, I'm not thinking like I'm pissed off
Mm.
at anyone on my team. I'm just like, fuck, I'm playing really bad, or like we're losing.
See, that's the same thing. I used to do competitive swimming, and I mean, I guess it's like the same thing, but I think I'm more aggressive because when you think about swimming, there's no teams. We're all
Yeah.
against each other. So I remember when I was like, I think it was like 11 or 12, can't even remember, and we had a competition, and it was basically like nationals to be like top in the country, and literally you spend, you know, all of your training with all of these people that go to the same club as you, but then you have to compete against
But you've got
them.
to win.
So basically there was this girl, and we were like, in our team we were like tied, like the best, like the top swimmers. And I remember just like she was right next to me, and like before we started to jump in the water, she like looked at me and she was like, I'm gonna fucking win. And I was like, no, the fuck you're not.
But that's a good type of anger.
Swam my ass off first in the
Yeah.
country. So I can't, you know, I
But
can't
that's like
complain.
that's good though, right? That like fueled you. You were like,
Yeah, 100%.
nah, I'm gonna win.
But I think now I think that was the reason why I'm so competitive, because like if I lose, I get so salty.
Oh yeah.
Like
Even
don't
if it's
talk
like,
to me.
if it's Monopoly, oh god.
Uno,
Do you know
Uno
what?
kills me.
Uno, it gets
Do you know what? I've never
Dusty.
actually played Uno, but like my anger when it comes to Monopoly, like my mum's banned it in the house.
Really?
Me and my brother can't play Monopoly together because I'll get so angry I end up crying
That
Wow.
is so funny.
because I always lose and I hate losing.
I always lose in Uno. I don't know how I lose in Uno, but you know when it's somebody like I'm at the end, I'm like, I have my last card, I'm gonna throw it now. Somebody's like +4. Fuck you. I don't want to talk to you
It's just
anymore.
because I feel like I'm always being really tactile with it.
Yeah.
And then he'll fucking buy like Park Lane and I'm like, oh, I've lost. You know at the start, you're like, fuck, shit. But
So
I just
funny.
love games. Like, I don't know. I think games are like a really healthy way
That's
to
a
let
good
your
way,
anger out.
yeah.
They are. They really are.
And I
Because
feel like
it's playful.
movies.
Movie.
Movies
Yeah.
are so good.
Like if I think a really healthy way to help release your emotions if you're feeling sad or angry.
We always do this.
Yes.
How many times in our study sessions
I've watched you
have we
watch Marley
cried?
and Me to cry.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll just put a movie on that I know is really
Yeah.
sad, and I will
Just
pour
for a
my eyes out
release.
to, and it helps me release
Oh,
my
it
emotions.
works, doesn't it?
Mm.
And then I'll wake up the
But
next
I
day.
don't
feeling
know if that's a
refreshed.
girl thing or not, because I was talking to one of my best mates, Joe, and it's the other day when I was just feeling so sad, and I was like, I don't know why I'm sad. Went on TikTok and then I started watching like sad dog dying videos, and I was just like, no, I know. Immediately crying. I was like, oh, thank God I can cry.
But see, this is a question that I have. You have like things that you watch when you wanna cry.
Yeah.
What is like a movie that you would watch when you want to get angry?
When I want to, that is a
I don't think
good
I have one,
question.
you know.
Do you know? Oh, it's a bit like it's sad and angry at the same time.
Which one?
What?
Moulin Rouge
I still need to watch it. You know.
or Titanic.
Oh really?
Why the fuck couldn't Rose like Jack? just
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, do you know what's
that
for
makes me angry.
sorry, not Black Savior, Jesus, White Savior movies. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
As in
So
like
basically-
actually a
Like,
white
as
savior
in-
movie.
Nah, so basically, white savior movies is like a trope that's been happening for the last, like, I would say like 10 years, where they recreate black people's stories, but they don't do it to the point where it's like really realistic. They create a person that saves the black person that's in the story.
Okay, give
So
us an
basically-
Yeah,
example.
an example.
Hidden Figures. So Hidden Figures is a movie. If you watched it,
Oh,
have you
I've
watched
heard
love
of
that
it.
film.
it?
I know.
Lie.
I've
A
seen.
lie.
Yeah, I've seen
A
the
lie.
lies.
So Hidden Figures is a movie about these three women that work
Yeah.
in NASA, and you know
I know
they
what you're on
get
about.
they
Sorry,
get their
yeah.
way up to the top, and
Yeah.
they're these amazing like mathematicians and stuff like that. So basically, there's this scene where one of
Is it the
the
bathroom?
ladies, yes,
Yeah.
one of the ladies, you know,
I
can't
know.
go to the bathroom in that building, so she has to run all
Yeah.
the way across campus to go to the other building because there's no black toilets.
Yeah.
So then this man, who is like top high, whatever he is in NASA,
Kevin Costner.
yeah,
Love of my life.
he takes down the sign of white toilets in that building, and then he's like, "We all pee the same." That
didn't
man
exist, did
does
it?
not exist.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
he
really?
does, but he didn't do
Didn't
that.
happen.
Also, you have
Was that a white man?
Yeah.
yeah. So also you have story of Green Book, which is about a black
oh,
artist.
yeah.
I really liked that.
That
film.
movie
I feel like
is
I feel
amazing.
bad saying I like these films when
No, it's okay.
they're good
because
films.
They're really, really good films. But when you think about Green Book, he did not have a driver.
Did he not?
No, babes, there was no Italian driver. There was no Italian driver. The problem was because at the time, you know, where when it was filmed and when it happened, he didn't have enough money to have a driver. Nobody wanted to drive him around.
Yeah.
So basically he had to take a bus and a train. So he was
Greyhound,
sometimes late to the shows and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So that Italian man that at the end of the day, like, joined him into his family, like, oh, we're not racist anymore. He doesn't exist.
Do you know what I think is a really good film, actually? That it doesn't touch on anger, but it is a great film for like representation, especially back in the day. Remember the Titans?
I haven't watched
What
it.
is
Have you
that?
ever seen it?
Is that what you watched
It's-
with
I was
Sandra
watching.
Day.
Oh
Sandra
my god!
Bullock and-
No,
Oh.
that's Blindside.
Wait, what's Remember the Titans?
I don't know.
If you've not seen this film, it is one of the most iconic. Like, it's one of my one of my all-time favorite films. It's about it's in the 1970s. So
Was
segregation.
it filmed in the 70s?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's got Denzel Washington in.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm watching
Yeah,
that.
it's great. And it's basically about an American football team. And it's completely true story. There's nothing like at the end, it's completely factual. And he's a black man in the 1970s who's brought in to coach this American football team in Deep South. Like, it's bad.
Izzy's favourite.
Is that why you love
That's
it?
why she loves that movie.
Sweet Home Alabama.
No, but it's what he does. It honestly, it makes me cry. Like, every time, I love it just because they come together and it's just beautiful. And I'm like, that to me is like one of the best films for representation and like honest representation, because at the end you see like it's truthful.
Which the one that's also good, The Help.
Oh,
That one is
God, I watched that the other
100%.
day.
Is that the one about the coronavirus?
No,
No.
God.
Is that the one where she bakes the cake and it's got her shit
Yes,
in? And
yes.
she loves
That
it.
is based
What am I on
on
about?
I don't know
The
what
Channel
you're
4
on.
one with what's her name from Killing Eve?
No,
No.
that's it. No.
Well, The Help is a truthful movie, and it is the only one where the white savior actually exists, because the book was actually written by a white woman, and the story is actually truthful.
Have you not seen
where-
that, Julie?
No.
You should watch it. It's
You'll
such a
love
good
it.
movie. It's a really
so
good movie.
It makes me cry every time.
Honestly,
like,
it makes you
Cecilia's
cry,
one of
makes
my
you
favorite
laugh.
characters.
Honestly, amazing. It's an amazing movie.
But I actually really like the question. What's a movie that makes you like angry?
Movie that makes me angry. Well, yeah, just like
Do you actually want to be angry sometimes?
I don't think I want to be angry watching a movie, you know.
Because I don't think I've ever experienced. I don't think I ever want to be angry.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to be sad.
Yeah, maybe I formed the question wrong. What's like
I
a
feel
movie that
like-
makes you angry? Let's say.
Yeah.
Like, what's like a movie that you watch that just makes you agitated? Like.
It's probably going to be like actual factual, like civil rights stuff based on real
Yeah.
things that have happened.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I do love a war film.
Do you?
I do.
Oh, I
too.
hate war
cannot.
movies.
I do,
I'm
yeah,
not
same.
Especially- I
All
don't-
Quiet on the Western Front. That was
Honestly,
horrific.
don't
that made me
want to
really
be
mad.
horrible,
No.
but Second World War films, that is my shit.
No, honestly, have you seen All Quiet on the Western Front?
No, I haven't.
Me
I
and Holly
watched. I
can't
watched.
watch
Oh my
it.
god, watched.
It won Oscars.
They're like no.
can't
Watch
relate.
the
No.
anti-violence.
Yeah, same.
No, but still, I think right.
But I
when
feel like you have to acknowledge that happened.
yeah.
Oh, I acknowledge
Also,
it.
you have to
but-
watch La Vita è Bella. Like, The Life is Beautiful. That is one of the most beautiful movies about the Second World War that I've ever seen in my entire life. It's basically about a son and a dad. It's an Italian movie. The way it's filmed is absolutely beautiful. If you want a movie about to cry, get that one, because it, like, I'm literally bawling my eyes out every time I see it. We're watching it together, like I'm making you watch it. Because it's not that much about, it is situated in the Second World War and it is about Jewish people.
Yeah.
But it's more about the relationship between a father and a son rather than about the war and how they saved each other.
Do you know
And
what
it's
is
just-
a really good representation for it? Which is it added humour into the war. Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, I love
Jojo.
Jojo
Oh my God,
Rabbit.
when-
That's the only war
Because
film I like.
that's sad though. Like the ending.
It is sad, but
Oh,
it's
it is very
really
sad.
funny.
Wasn't
It is
expecting
really
that.
sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a really interesting take, actually.
That
is a
I
really
think that
interesting
is
take.
yeah.
I feel like most Second World War movies will be very like serious, historical.
Oh,
We're
I
going
think
straight
they
to the
have
point.
to
But
be to some
Jojo, but
extent.
Jojo Rabbit was like funny, silly.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he sees Hitler. Like
Yeah.
that's just so funny to me.
It is hilarious.
But I think that's like there's like this trope actually. It's like how Gen Z and millennials deal with shit. Like we are
Yeah, we
dark.
laugh about it.
We're dark.
Yeah.
Like we need to joke about things. Like we joke about our daddy issues.
Yeah.
I mean, like most people will probably cry. I find it funny.
Yeah.
Like that's the way I cope. Like I cope through laughing.
I think it's with everything. You know, when we talked about how we make like nicknames for stuff, when like cost of living crisis, Cozy Lizzie crisis, or like the pandemic. What was it? Panda Express and stuff like that. Like it's just so like funny because like we just try and make a joke out of everything.
I think everything has to be
It
funny.
keeps it
Joking about my
light-hearted.
trauma.
I do love joking about my trauma. It's so funny.
Coping mechanism,
but you know,
guys.
and also like what's funniest to me is when you meet a person who doesn't understand that you're joking about
Oh,
trauma,
God.
and then you joke in front of them, and they're like so serious, and they're like, "That's not funny."
I don't
I
don't want to like be stereotypical, but Germans don't get it. They don't.
What
They do not get our
mean?
humour.
What do you mean?
They don't get our humour.
They really don't. Yeah,
No,
that is kind of true.
I went to an international school, dated a German. Oh God.
What's
God,
experience?
the
Culture
experience-
clash.
the
Is there a bit of a
experience-
culture clash? Do you know
There's
what?
It's not even a culture clash. They're really funny.
Relate.
They're funny, but
So
they just
relate.
don't.
Who are you on about?
Hat thief.
Hat
Oh!
thief.
Yeah.
Hat thief. I realised amazing girl, but just like British humour is so like sarcastic.
Yeah.
Like we
Mm,
take
it's
the
very
piss out of each
sarky.
other and then
True.
we hug each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Americans.
Hat thief did not get it.
No.
Really?
Did not get
Was
it.
there an example?
I can't remember. I just remember warning her when she came to London, meeting my friends, like just so you know.
By the
Just so you
way.
know. And she was like, "Oh, me and my friends would never do that." I was like,
But
Yeah.
there is a big culture. Like
Yeah.
we get along so well with Australians. I feel like Australians.
Australians
are, like,
and British
lost.
are like kind of the
But
same.
British
I mean,
people-
they're basically British, aren't they? Really?
Yeah,
But
but
just
British
more
people
sun.
also
Yeah.
get along with Balkan people. I'm not gonna lie, because you have the same humor.
Yeah.
We do
But
have the same
I
humor.
feel like you're more dry with it.
Yes, that is true.
Correct.
That is
Like
true.
Geeta, love her,
Mm.
dry. She's
Croatian people are
she's
dry, aren't you?
hysterical, but she's dry.
Sorry. Oh my god, I'm so
No,
sorry.
you're like
Yeah.
you're not. I don't really associate you with. You're just like your own person.
I am my own person.
You're your own person. But like Americans, they do not understand it.
No, not
Like
at
if I'm
all.
like, oh, how are you? Like
Yeah.
as saying hi. God, they don't. It's like I've spoken a different language.
They're a
They're like,
simulation.
I'm okay.
That's what I'm telling
fine.
you.
Like, what do you mean? Do I not look okay? I'm
Yeah.
like, no, you look fine. I'm just asking how. Like, I'm just saying hi.
It's,
like-
it's the same thing as like, I can't remember which roommate, but she was telling me this story where she went to school in America and she was in a dorm with two American girls and one of them was black, and my roommate told her, can you like please just like clean up after yourself? And she turned around and she was like, is that because I'm black? Are you discriminating against me because I'm black? Am I supposed to do that because I'm black? And she was like, no, you're just messy. Like, just clean after yourself. Like, it's okay.
I feel like the subject of race in America, I can't really comment on it that much, but it's very different. I feel like
It is
and
very
I feel like
different.
speaking to Storm and you, and
Mhm.
there's a big difference between racism in America and what racism is in Britain.
Yeah,
but I
100%.
also think it's important to highlight that the racism in Britain is very bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Our
so bad.
racism's
So bad.
horrific, but I feel like there's a difference with how we do it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Ours is more passive, I think. Like
Theirs is literally violent.
theirs is
But you'd
very
be
open with it.
like you would be surprised by like if
But
you,
you've experienced quite a lot of racism, haven't you?
yeah, but even like I'm gonna use there was, I don't know if you guys heard about what happened with Daniel Kaluuya and Samuel L. Jackson, but
No.
basically Samuel L. Jackson said that like he didn't think it was right that Daniel Kaluuya got chosen to play the role of what's the movie
Get
called?
Out?
No,
No.
fuck. I can't remember the name of the movie, but he plays a key figure in the Black Panther Party. It will come to me. You know the one I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched it a while ago. Very
Boston,
good movie.
isn't it?
No,
Maybe.
I don't know. Fred. Oh, guys, I don't know. This is really bad. I apologise. But anyway, Samuel L. Jackson said he thought that he shouldn't have been casted for that because they should have casted a Black American person because people in Britain do not experience racism the
Racism.
way that they do and stuff. And Daniel Kaluuya basically, like he said, he was like, I shouldn't even have to be revealing this or talking about this, but like he's been like brutally, like the police have stopped him in
Yeah.
the street and strip searched him.
Strip searching so bad.
Like being
Yeah.
super, he's like, I shouldn't even have to share these stories. Like,
Yeah.
and
But do you not think that's interesting? Because that's coming from
oh, fuck
Black
Samuel L.
American.
Jackson.
Like-
That's out of order.
yeah.